She was poor to the world, measured by empty pockets and silent days. But to my soul, she was priceless, a treasure no scale could hold. She owned no land, no gold sleeping in drawers, no luxury the world respects. Yet she carried something heavier than wealth, a heart that never learned how to stop giving. Her life moved quietly, like a prayer whispered at dawn. No applause followed her footsteps. No crowd noticed her sacrifices. But every step she took was for someone else. She smiled through shortages, shared food meant for herself, and chose love when bitterness waited nearby. Poverty touched her hands, but never her dignity. The world saw her as ordinary, replaceable, easy to overlook. I saw a soul, forged by endurance, polished by patience, and softened by mercy. She carried pain without turning cold, loss without turning cruel, and time without losing faith. Her strength never shouted. It stayed. She was poor to the world, but to my soul, she became shelter, guidance, and the quiet reason. I believe love survives everything. To the world, she was nothing special. To me, she was everything. She lived in shadows. The world never bothered to light, moving through days that asked much and offered little in return. No one marked her struggles. No one recorded her sacrifices. Yet she carried them all with quiet dignity. Responsibility rested on her shoulders like a lifelong promise. She never questioned why it was hers to carry. She only learned how to carry it better. Each day she rose with resolve stitched into her breath. Her hands grew rough from endless giving, from work that never ended, from holding others together while slowly wearing herself thin. Her eyes grew tired from hoping without guarantees, from believing in tomorrow, even when today was unkind. Still, her heart remained gentle. Life tried to harden her. Poverty tried to shrink her. Loss tried to silence her. Yet she chose softness. As an act of courage, she learned how to survive without becoming cruel, how to endure without losing compassion, how to give without keeping score. She turned pain into patience and hardship into humility. The world only saw her limits, what she lacked, what she could not afford, what she never achieved. I saw something else entirely. A woman rich in resilience, wealthy in wisdom, and powerful in love. She stood firm when life offered nothing. She stayed kind when kindness cost her dearly. Even in scarcity, she made room for others. Even in hunger, she fed hope. She was never rich in things, but rich in presence. Never influential by status, but influential by example. Her existence taught me that the greatest riches cannot be owned. They can only be lived. She was poor to the world, but priceless to my soul, because through her, I learned that love, when it is real, is never measured by wealth. She walked through years that demanded strength before she ever learned what rest felt like. Life did not prepare her gently. It tested her early, again and again, until endurance became her nature. She carried silence, like a second skin, not because she had nothing to say, but because no one asked how much she was holding inside. Her pain learned patience. Her tears learned privacy. She stood in lines where hope was thin, waited in rooms where promises never arrived. Still, she never let bitterness settle in her heart. She believed kindness was not weakness, but power refined. Her sacrifices were invisible, woven into ordinary days, meals divided, dreams delayed, comfort surrendered. So others could breathe easier. She made herself smaller, so others could rise. She aged quietly, not from years, but from carrying too much alone. Time touched her face, but it bowed before her spirit. She remained standing when many would have fallen. The world passed her by, never stopping long enough to understand her worth. But my soul recognized her as shelter, as guidance, as proof that love can outlive every hardship. She was poor to the world, yet rich in wisdom. She owned little, yet gave endlessly. She was overlooked by many, but irreplaceable to me, because she taught me this truth, that value is not declared. It is lived, quietly, faithfully, and with a heart that never stops giving. She never asked life to be gentle with her. She only asked herself to remain strong enough to keep going. And so she did, day after day, year after year. Her mornings began before hope fully woke. Her nights ended after exhaustion had settled in. Still she rose again, not because it was easy, but because someone depended on her. She learned how to survive without applause, how to carry pain without letting it spill into bitterness. Her strength did not shout. It endured. She gave pieces of herself to moments that never returned, to people who never noticed how much she was losing. Yet she never stopped believing that love was worth the cost. Her laughter became rare, but genuine. Her smile carried history, not innocence. She knew what it meant to lose and continue, to break and still protect others from breaking. The world reduced her to what she lacked: money, comfort, recognition. It never counted. What she carried instead: patience, loyalty, resilience, and a heart that refused to grow cold. She lived humbly, but her soul stood tall. She walked quietly, but left deep footprints in the lives she touched. Even time showed her respect, softening before her endurance. She was poor to the world, but priceless to my soul, because through her, I learned that the greatest wealth is not what you hold in your hands, but what you preserve in your heart. She did not arrive at 60 by luck or ease. She arrived through endurance, through days that demanded silence, and nights that asked for faith. When answers never came, her life was a long lesson in waiting. Waiting for relief, waiting for fairness, waiting for a moment that would finally be kind. Yet even while waiting, she continued to give. She carried responsibility as if it were a sacred duty, never asking who would carry her. When her strength grew thin, she became the shelter for everyone else, learning how to stand, even while exhausted. There were moments when her heart wanted to break, when hope felt too heavy to lift again, but she chose gentleness over bitterness, mercy over anger, and patience over despair. Her sacrifices were not dramatic. They were daily, quiet, and unseen. Dreams folded away, comforts surrendered, needs silenced, all so others could move forward. She aged carrying more than her years. Time touched her body, but her soul remained intact, guarded by wisdom, earned through suffering. She understood that survival is not loud, and strength does not need to announce itself. The world looked at her and saw limits. I looked at her and saw depth, depth shaped by hardship, softened by love, and made unbreakable by faith. She lived simply, but her presence was vast. She owned little, but gave everything. Her life taught me that the richest hearts often belong to those the world forgets. She was poor to the world, but priceless to my soul, because she showed me that true wealth is staying kind in a world that never was. At 60, she has carried the weight of decades, without complaint, without boasting, without letting the world see how much she has endured. Her life is a map of resilience, each wrinkle a lesson, each scar a testament, each silent tear a story, of battles fought quietly, of storms weathered alone. She gave without expecting return, loved without hesitation, sacrificed without asking if anyone noticed. Her hands became instruments of care and comfort, her heart a sanctuary for those who needed it most. She has learned that strength is not always loud, that courage does not always roar, and that patience can overcome despair when all else fails. Even in scarcity, she found ways to give. Even in loneliness, she created companionship. Even in pain, she chose love. Her spirit is unshakable, not because life spared her, but because she refused to let hardship harden her, to let sorrow steal her kindness, or to let time dull her heart. She walked through life with quiet dignity, leaving invisible footprints in every life she touched. Her lessons are not written in books or taught in schools, but lived through her actions, felt through her love, and remembered in every heart she saved from despair. At 60, she owns no gold, but she possesses everything that matters most: an endless capacity to care, a soul that endures, and a heart that never stopped loving. She owns no gold, yet she is my gold, my guide, my inspiration, my eternal treasure. At 60, she has mastered the art of giving without notice, of loving without expectation, and of standing tall when the world offered nothing. Her days were never easy. She bore burdens that would have crushed others, yet she endured silently, letting no complaint escape her lips. Her sacrifices were countless, yet she counted none of them. She carried more than her own weight: the sorrows of others, the unspoken fears of family, and the silent needs of those who looked to her for strength. And still she smiled. Still she whispered hope into hearts that had forgotten it. Her laughter came in rare moments, but when it came, it healed. Her hands, though worn, built warmth in homes, fed dreams, and comforted those whose hearts were heavy. She taught the most profound lessons without saying a word: that patience can transform despair, that kindness can outshine cruelty, that love is the truest form of wealth. Her life was a living testament to endurance, to courage, and to the quiet power of a giving heart. Even as time touched her body, her spirit remained untouchable. She has known loss, yet she has never lost hope. She has known poverty, yet she has never lost generosity. She has known hardship, yet she has never lost love. She was poor to the world, but priceless to my soul, because through her, I learned that greatness is not announced. It is lived, it is given, and it is shared silently with every heart she touches. At 60, she owns no gold, yet she is my gold, my eternal treasure, my inspiration, my pride. If her life moved you, leave a comment below. Celebrate the silent heroes whose love shapes the world. At 60, she has walked paths that demanded more than her body could bear, more than her spirit could imagine. And yet, she persevered. Every sunrise found her ready. Every sunset found her still standing, with a heart that refused to harden, and a soul that refused to yield. Her life is a tapestry, woven with threads of patience, courage, and endless love. Every struggle she faced added depth to her character. Every sorrow carved wisdom into the fabric of her being. Even when hope seemed distant, she held on to it firmly. For herself and for others, she gave without expectation, loved without hesitation, and sacrificed silently, so that those around her could flourish in ways she never could. Her hands carried burdens that never appeared in public. Her heart carried dreams that never got recognition, and her spirit carried strength that often went unnoticed. She learned to endure quietly, to rise above injustice, to forgive without reminders, and to love without asking for return. Her laughter was rare, but her presence was constant. Her kindness was unshakable, her courage unwavering. Time has marked her body, etched lines of hardship upon her face, yet her spirit shines undimmed. Each wrinkle tells a story, each scar a chapter of battles fought with dignity. The world may have measured her by what she lacked, but I measure her by what she gave, an immeasurable treasure of patience, love, and wisdom beyond years. She was poor to the world, but priceless to my soul, because through her, I have learned that true strength does not roar, it endures silently. She owns no gold, yet she is my gold, my inspiration, my eternal treasure, and my heart's quiet victory. At 60, she has walked through storms that would have broken many, yet she stands unshaken, with a heart that still believes, a spirit that still hopes, and hands that still give, even when empty herself. Her life is a testament to the quiet power of endurance. Each wrinkle on her face is a story, each scar a lesson, each tear a memory of battles fought silently, and victories won quietly. She has known loss that could have hardened her, sorrow that could have made her bitter, and pain that could have stolen her kindness. Yet she chose differently. She chose patience. She chose love. She chose to keep believing in the good of the world, even when the world had little to offer. Her hands have given more than they could hold. Her heart has carried more than it could bear. Her soul has endured more than words can describe. She fed those who went hungry, sheltered those with nowhere to go, and comforted hearts broken, while hiding her own wounds. She never sought recognition. Her victories were quiet, her successes unseen, but every life she touched bears witness to her greatness. Even in scarcity, she gave without hesitation. Even in despair, she believed in hope. Even when the world overlooked her, she remained invaluable to those who truly knew her worth. At 60, she is not rich in gold, but she is richer than empires. She owns no treasures the world recognizes, yet she holds the wealth of love, patience, resilience, and wisdom. Treasures that cannot be taken, that cannot fade, and that outlast time itself. She was poor to the world, but priceless to my soul, because she has shown that true value lies not in what is possessed, but in what is given, in what is endured, and in how deeply one loves. She owns no gold, yet she is my gold, my eternal treasure, my heart's greatest inheritance, and my unspoken pride. At 60, she stands as a testament to everything the world overlooked. She has endured decades that demanded more than most could give, yet she remained unwavering, her heart still open, her spirit still resilient, and her hands still willing to serve. Her life is a collection of silent victories, each struggle she overcame, added strength to her character. Each loss she bore added depth to her compassion, and each tear she shed was a seed of wisdom that blossomed in the heart she touched. She never sought praise, never demanded recognition, never counted what she gave. Her wealth was measured in lives improved, in love freely offered, in hope restored, and in comfort extended to those who needed it most. Even when the world judged her by what she lacked, I measured her by what she gave: immeasurable patience, endless generosity, and love that defied hardship. Time may have touched her body, etched lines on her face, and worn her hands with labor, but her soul remained untouched, radiant and unbroken. She walked through pain, without surrendering to despair, and through loneliness, without losing her faith in goodness. She is poor in wealth, yet richer than kings. She owns no gold, no treasures the world values, yet she is a living vault of patience, kindness, and love that cannot be diminished, that cannot be measured, and that will endure forever. She was poor to the world, but priceless to my soul, because she showed me that true riches are not counted in coins, but in hearts healed, in love given, and in the quiet strength that survives every storm. She owns no gold, yet she is my gold, my eternal treasure, my life's quiet miracle, and my heart's greatest inheritance. If her story touched you, leave a comment below. Honor the women whose love and strength shaped the world.